Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Jal Presents Kya Haal Chaal Podcast, and this is your host and dost Apoorv Jha. And in today's episode, we are going to having someone really very special. She's a musician and a classical guitarist, and she's also an artist for Didario and Co. and a brand ambassador for Soundbrenner. And it's none other than only Veronika Mushkina. She started her musical journey at the age of 5, and at the age of 10, she switched to classical guitar. Her journey is very inspiring, and so is she. And she's also a very peaceful and calm personality whom I got to know over our podcast session. This is going to be a very interesting one. So I want all of you to tune into this podcast and listen to it till the end. So with that being said, without any further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, Veronica. So, welcome to Kya Haal Chaal Podcast. It's a great pleasure having you over here. And yes, I was really looking forward to this conversation because it was like one of those desires of mine to have a musician, especially a guitarist, on the podcast since I'm one. I love to play the instrument. So, I was just very excited to have you on the podcast to discuss about guitar, about music. And yes, here we are. So, thank you so much for coming up. Okay, so the very first question that I want to ask you was that for someone as a new guitarist, how tough is it to make it a full-time career?
It's quite challenging, and to be honest, my performing music is not my full-time career. So I'm also not a completely freelance. I'm teaching in music school, like state music school in Germany, 4 days a week. And I also play concerts like solo and in duet with flute. And I make video like social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and streaming my practice sessions. So it's pretty tough to make full-time guitarist, but if I speak honest, I'm not a full-time guitarist. I'm a part-time teacher, part-time guitarist, part-time blogger, and part-time wife, like that.
Wow, that's amazing. Like one thing I must
That's
say about
amazing.
yes, for all
Thank you.
guitarists, that's one thing that I've noticed is they are all multitaskers. Like I have all the guitarists that I've met, they are not just playing guitar, they are doing something else. That's really a good thing. And I'm working on it. So I'm trying to find something else that I can do along with guitar. So yes. Okay. So the next question that I was having, Veronica, for you was that you have worked with so many reputed names in music like Daddario, Soundbrenner, etc., which was your very first brand collaboration that you did? Like when you started your journey as a part-time guitarist, which was the very first brand which approached you for a collaboration?
I guess actually my very first partnership was with the Dario Strings.
Okay.
And after that comes Soundbrenner, Noisy Clan, Krautic, and so on. Um, I took part in a competition in Koblenz in Germany, and
Oh,
occasionally I met guys from the Dario, and it was a challenge there. And I took a part, and after that we met in Frankfurt and spoke about partnership. And since 2021, I guess, I'm proud to be part of the Dario membership, and I really love. I have been playing strings by the Dario for, oh, that's a good question, more than 10 years, I guess.
oh, wow. Wow,
I,
that's
I think about
interesting.
15 years with the Dario, and I was extremely happy and excited to be part of this
Wow.
partnership.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm shocked that how am I not knowing this? Because I'll be honest, I use Didario strings only, like no other strings. I personally like Didario myself. It has gone very well for my guitars. So yes, and when I saw that, when I came across your Instagram page, when I saw that, I was like, I was so impressed. Like that's such a cool thing because Denari, I feel personally that it's an amazing brand. So for 15 years, damn, that's so cool. That's amazing. For me, it's like a kind of a dream to someday do something with Denari because personally I love the brand a lot. I use all the things from Denari only. So yes. And one more, and the next question that I was having for you, Veronica, is something that I like recently only I got to, feel of because it's mostly like a thing which every musician experiences for the very first time at some point of time when they are starting their journey, which is like, how was the feeling when you performed for the very first time in front of a large crowd? Because I recently got a chance to perform in front of a crowd, not very large though, a small crowd, but still it was a very kind it was very no it gave me a sense of nervousness, or like gave me a rush of feelings, nervousness and everything. So I was equally curious to know that how was the experience for you, how you handled it, how you played despite of having such an enormous pressure. How was it?
My very first time performing to the crowd, the first feeling I had was anxiety, nervousness, adrenaline rush. And for the first time, I didn't even know how to manage with it. And I wasn't happy after my performance, of course, because of anxiety, it produced some bad things like mistakes, which sometimes notice only you, but at this moment it's extremely crucial. And yes, the first time everything I felt, it was like anxiety, but at the same time, sense of achievement, excitement, joy. I was extremely nervous and extremely excited. Like the cocktail in my head.
Wow, that's so like it was like when you were like performing, where do you like, because I'll be honest, I was really feeling very nervous. So if I have to like, if out of curiosity, uh how can one handle this nervousness if they are performing for the very first time?
So I wish I knew some things before, but it was very long way to manage with anxiety, and I still don't think I'm completely done with this way. I still working on it, but I wish I knew some things before. For example, breathing exercises, autogen training, um, and preparation properly, how to prepare yourself properly. I didn't even know. So my former teacher tried to give their best, but some things you should achieve yourself. You should to find for yourself. Yeah.
And also today we are having our co-host Aditya for this episode. So Aditya was also having a few questions for you. So Aditya, the floor is yours.
Yes. Greetings, Veronica. First of all, I would like to admit that though I did not play any music, but I love music. Music is the thing that I feel. I'm one of those who feels music and gets goosebump whenever he listens to specific music. So, on the basis of the current conversation, I would like to know how that anxiety or how that nervousness is that giving you edge, or is it helping you to perform a little better? Because as per my studies, I think that nervousness and anxiety, that's a few times at few moments give you that edge. It helps you perform better at those stages.
At some point, yes. For example, with adrenaline rush, you have some hormones which make a circle in your body. And for example, with adrenaline, you become more concentrated and more focused on the process. So at this point, you are right. It helps to become better. But sometimes if you are too nervous and not really prepared properly with your anxiety, you have like this, so your hands, and it doesn't help at all. It's about struggling, not enjoying the process. And
So how would
some
you relate your
thoughts
situation?
from my first performance ever, yes. It was so big issue that public could see how I do with my hands. Yes, it was very noticeable.
Yeah,
I think
and
it's very important, nervousness.
true,
And
true.
it's very important to overcome that nervousness and anxiety.
So we can do it like make it helpful and in a good way, like stay focused, stay concentrate, because it's very important. But it's a great work. It's a big way, it's a long way. But at this point, you are right. It could be helpful, and it's helpful if we do it properly. Yes.
Great.
Yeah. One more thing that I just noticed about you, and I just, again, out of curiosity, I was having this question. How are you so peaceful? Like, I feel that you have a really very peaceful energy, a peaceful vibe. So how do you like maintain it? Because I feel that's one aspect of a guitar is like one thing that a guitarist really wants, a musician really wants to be peaceful. So how do you have this energy? Because I'm really like feeling that you are having such a like positive and peaceful vibe. So I just want to like, how do you like do it? Because I, during this conversation, I just noticed it is so evident in the way you are speaking, in the way you are like telling about your experiences. Very kind of very slow, beautiful, and peaceful way you are like describing everything. So how? I just want to know about that.
First of all, thank you. um, as I told you before, I'm working with children in music school. And it's make me able to have another level of patience, you know. If
True,
you are
true.
working with children, you have to become extremely patient, but also you are learning from children how to be peaceful, how to enjoy small things, because some adults forgot about it. But during my teaching process, I also learned some things from children, how to enjoy small things, how to notice that, and how to be patient with people. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Aditya, what do you think? How we'll do as teachers? Like I'm myself a student in in college second year. So yes, what do you think, Aditya? We both are students. How do you think we'll do as teachers?
It's very important for a teacher to be peaceful, to be patient towards the students. I can't assume myself to be teacher and how good teacher I will be, or I can't say about Apoorv, but I assume that Veronika, you might be a very great teacher.
True, true.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I have one more question. Even you started your music career or music journey at a very small age, at a very young age. So, who idealized you to get into that field? Can you enlighten us about your journey as you started from age of 5, I guess?
So my parents are musician both, and since my early childhood, I saw this world like near me every day, and I knew I want to try one day some instruments. I always, as a child, want to play cello, but I wasn't able to. So my mother is a guitarist, and my dad is oboist. And I had at home like piano, guitar, and so on. And I should choose something between these instruments. So no cello was for me, but I start with piano at the age of 5, and at the age of 10, I start with classical guitar. And I play both instruments for a while, and then I choose like classical guitar is the main instrument for me. And after music school, I took a break for 2-3 years. I didn't practice a lot and didn't perform, did nothing with guitar. I was concentrated in my study, in my school graduation. And after that, I started practicing again, and I went to College of Music. And after graduation, I moved to Germany, Robert Schumann Hochschule, like conservatory, and graduated my bachelor and master there.
That's amazing. That's really a great story. And like when I got to know about that story, I was like from a very young age. I guess one thing I figured out for sure that music is your life, and that's something like I really find very cool. That like living your life around music is for me it's something like a kind of a dream, that to live around music, to explore music in so many different dimensions and everything. So yes, that's one thing for sure. And now moving on, there was another question that I was having that I personally also had for many, like for many people, not for just the podcast purpose, but for otherwise also. Like when I started my guitar journey, I was having this question, and I was asking my teachers, some guitarist friend of mine, everyone. I was asking this question, and now today I'm asking this question to a professional herself. When you started your guitar journey, there must be some mistakes that you wish that if you wouldn't have made at the beginning, so it would have been a much better or much easier journey for you. Anything that you felt that if you would have known at the beginning of your journey, it would have been much easier and you would have learned much quicker. Because when I started, like now it has been, for me, it has been around 6 years now since I've been playing guitar, and it's like it's just a hobby, but I do play it every often. So I also do feel that if I would have done this or if I would have done that, then it would have been much. I would have learned a lot more things better, a lot more things more efficiently. So anything like that that you yourself experienced?
Yes, for example, about consistent practice. So it's much better to make every day little, but practice a lot, but unregularly. And at the beginning, it was actually my issues. I'm not proud about that, but I didn't practice consistently, like every day, a bit like with teeth routine, kind of that. I practiced like before the lesson, I did a lot. And then the whole week, I enjoy my teenager life, you know. I wish I was practice consistently with every day, like small progressions, but regularly. And it would be much more useful, and my progress could be much more efficiently. I wish I used metronome more at the beginning of my music journey. So nowadays I do it regularly, not constantly, but regularly. But I wish I use it early. When I was a child, I refused to do it, and it was a big mistake because you can you can teach yourself like feeling of time and feeling of tempo, of pace, and also control your progress, your technique. It was very important, but I didn't use to, unfortunately. I wish I played more with others. At the beginning, I was pretty concentrated to play alone and didn't do a lot of chamber music. And it's pretty sad because if you play especially with other instrument, you learn a lot from other instrument, and these things you can use for yourself. For example, currently I have duo with flute, and I'm learning a lot how to breathe, because it's a problem by guitarists. You don't need to. You do it with your hands, but for the phrasing, for your musicality, you need to breathe. And I wish I played more with other instruments and just learned a lot from them. I wish I recorded myself more. Also earlier, they actually didn't have a lot of possibility for it. I mean, I'm 30 now. When I was young, it was pretty long time ago. And we didn't have smartphones, you know. We couldn't record yourself every time we wanted to. But I wish I had this possibility, because if you record yourself during your practice session or you play the whole piece and you can analyze how was your phrasing, how was this your technique, were you clean and good or everything is a mess. You can't be objective if you are just practicing and listen. You have to record yourself and listen properly. And I wish I had this possibility earlier.
I have one more question. See, as a person, I'm not a musician, but though I can feel that music. And I think you are also a very great musician, and you are a lot into this musical field for, I guess, 20 years, 25 years. So, how does the music, according to you, how does the music defines a person spiritually, consciously, and mentally? Because I think music is one of those things that gives you satisfaction, pleasure, and it also relieves your stress sometimes. Music is also one of those things that helps you to define your aura, to define yourself, and to maintain a disciplined life. So, what would be your answer for this question?
It's a good question. At first, for me, music has like meditative effects, like relaxing effects. If I personally go to the concert and listen, for this time, I feel like in the other dimension. I just only listen and I'm whole the process of enjoying. I don't think about other things. And the first impact for me, like if you listening music focused, this affects like meditative, relaxing, and especially classical music for me. And also like community and connection. This is my personal experience during a competition or concert, like have a conversation with another musicians and people, learn from them or become friends. Many friends or knowledges of mine I become during concert and competitions. And for me, the music was a key of connection, because when I moved to Germany, I don't have a friends at all. I mean, nobody waited for me from my age. And because of music, I find friends. And that's a connection. Another impact is like therapy and healing. If you feel sad, many people listening music. If we have celebrating like wedding, birthday, we are listening music. If we want to dance, we need music. So it's like therapy, and it just always with us. So I can't expect world without. It's a huge impact, I guess.
Even in 1880s, I guess in 1880s, the anesthesia medicine was not developed enough. So whenever the doctors would amputate someone's body part, they would use a specific frequency that would change the consciousness of the person, hence eventually impacting the person in reducing sensation of pain. So even I think music is very impactful in the world. And I'm
True that.
grateful to you, people like you who are making music and promoting it.
Thank you.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, this whole conversation as it was going on, one thing I foresee, I was relating so much to your answer to the guitar tips for the beginners. I was relating so much to it because I also feel like wish, heck yeah, if I would have done these, I would have taken these steps, I would have been such a better player. Done, I would have played so many things so easily if I would have taken those steps. That's so, I really felt very relatable. I was like, wow, that's so good. I really felt very relatable, very much relatable. And that's, I guess, in a very long time, I'm having a conversation where we are all just discussing about music. And yes, I'm very happy. I can like I'm inside of me is very happy right now for this conversation. I'm just enjoying myself. But yes, that's really true. And I guess music, as you said, as I earlier mentioned as well, your peaceful aura only defines that how peacefully you play music as well. And it shows. I mean, that's so beautiful to, see in musicians that they are having such a peaceful aura. And music just not defines peace, it defines so many things. Basically, if you are playing rock, it defines angst, it defines your grudges against anything. And I guess I really loved Nirvana for that, for Boulevard of Broken Dreams of Green Days. I was like, that's such a masterpiece, and Nirvana and so many rock pieces that were they're having their own way of expressing their, emotions and everything. And even I saw some of your reels where you were playing, and I was like, I was enjoying it because classical guitars have one own kind of their tune. I mean, I personally want a classical guitar soon. I want to just like right now I'm having a proper acoustic one with that steel strings, but I want to change to a proper classical one. And because I just love the sound of it. When you were playing also, I was feeling, damn, I want to play this guitar once. That's so, especially because, and there are so many, like there's one, I guess, I don't know, it went very viral on YouTube as well. I don't know the name of the song, but it was really viral. It was played by one of the Indian students at Harvard, and it went really very viral on YouTube many years ago. I guess, when I don't remember exactly, but I just forgot the name. But that was such a great piece, and it was on classical guitar. So I was like, from then I was a fan of classical guitar. I was like, I'll get one and I'll play it very soon, and I'm planning to do so because classical guitars I love. Yes. Also, do you have any favorite guitar? Like, there are so many guitar models, and everyone has like one model that they really want. So, do you have any, like, as such, any kind of guitar that you want? Any particular model, any particular guitar?
Yes, actually, it is. So currently, I have a traditional classical guitar made by Paco Marin, and I love this instrument. I'm happy to have it. But I also would like a double top guitar in my collection, but some from special guitar masters, because it's more loud and has more volume than traditional one. And for example, to play with duo, with flute, I need more volume because I have some limits of playing loud, and I need to be more loud, and double tone guitar could make it possible for me. Yes, and maybe I also would love to have guitar which have like external possibility to make loud. I have one, but it's not good enough, and I wish I have also kind of this guitar, but a bit better. Yeah.
One of your reel, you were playing Everything I Do by Brian Adams. I love that music. Brian Adams, The Police. And I love the way you played, the way you mimic that same rhythm, the same aura. Just beautiful.
I'm also a
Thank
Brand
you.
Adams fan. I'm also a Brand Adams fan. Yeah, that's really good. As I said, I saw some of you playing the guitar, and I was like, wow, I have to talk to her. I really need to talk to her. I really need to get a conversation. And yes, I'm having it over here. I'm so happy. So yes, with that, we are at the end of this podcast. And before wrapping up, one last question for you, Veronica. That is, any message for our Wowsome listeners?
Um, Any message for?
our, like, I call my podcast audience awesome listeners. So any message for them, any advice, any message, anything you want to say to them, to our audience?
Yes. I wish that classical guitar music would be so popular as it deserves. Because we have some beloved music instruments like violin or piano, which is wonderful. But I guess I feel like there is a lack of attention for classical guitar original music. And if we don't play something popular, it's not so interesting. And it makes me pretty sad. So I wish, I advise, I ask to listen classical guitar music, original music. There's a lot of playlists like in Spotify, YouTube Music, SoundCloud, whatever you prefer. But just to try it, try to enjoy, try to know about it, because it deserves your time, guys. Yeah.
That's, yeah, I 110% agree to that, because even when I was not I was like, when I was not knowing about classical guitar, and when I got to know about it, I was like, why I was not knowing about it earlier. It's so good. The sound of the classical guitar, it's heavenly. It's like, it's one of its own kind. And yes, definitely, to everyone, to check out all the classical guitar covers. Do check out Veronica's cover on Instagram. Her Instagram handle will be mentioned in the description. Please do check it out. It's amazing. You'll find some really good covers, which I personally like. And yes, you'll also like, one more thing that I noticed is that the surroundings in which she shoots is beautiful. It's serene. I really love that background. It goes accordingly with the music. So yes, do check her out. And yes, again, thank you so much, Veronica, for joining us today.
Thank
It
you.
was a pleasure having you over here. Thank you so much, Aditya, for coming up and being such a great host. And yes, with that, we are at the end of this podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is your host and host, Apoorv Jha, signing off. I'll meet you in the next episode. Till that, see ya. Bye, everyone.